You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Are you kidding? Why the hell should I wait for you?
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
If you're having nightmares, then welcome to the club. My name's Subaru Natsuki, and I am the Knight of Amelia.
Right now, all I can give you is just death.
It wasn't for you in particular.
You fought 100 men because it's not in your nature to run away.
If you are feeling disheartened, that you are somehow not enough, set your heart ablaze.
Well, if things go south, just know that my internet has decided it fucking hates me tonight, and it is actively trying to destroy me and get in my way. So tonight, I've got plenty of random topics, but the big ones are pretty much the fact that a lot of US and Japanese animation might actually be getting outsourced to North Korea. And, well, not a lot, some. Should correct that right away. And that Studio Pierrot has decided to voice their opinion on the way Western audiences view fiction and what they want out of all this shit. So yeah, that's a thing that's going to happen. But there are a bunch of other things like some new manga and stuff, random fan trailers and all that. We'll eventually get into plenty of that. But for now, I'll start off light. We'll start fun. I haven't had much time to watch much lately, so I've literally just been able to barely keep up with YouTube, working on one video for Metallic Rouge. And I finally have first day off in like 2 weeks that I will be able to use to try and work on that Metallic Rouge video. So hopefully I'll be able to crank that out tomorrow and make sure my channel isn't completely dead, you know? Because YouTube fucking hates it when you decide to go on over to, or when you decide to take a break and not do anything on your channel for a little while. They don't like that. It doesn't appreciate when you don't do shit. But yeah, that's pretty much the rundown on that. Is I have been busy as heck with work, with overtime and all of that, and hopefully it slows down and I finally get my weekends back and I can enjoy doing the things that I like, which includes doing this stream a little bit and more YouTube videos and actually watching stuff, because I am behind on so many of the series I want to start. So Fable is putting out episodes, and I have been looking forward to that one. Like, I have genuinely been excited to watch Fable. Konosuba has been going, apparently, and I am looking forward to that. Kaiju number 8 behind on that. Basan Shisan, I believe that's what it's called. In English, it's called something like Grandma and Grandpa Turned Young Again. Another cutesy little thing I need to see, or I want to check out. As far as live action stuff, I only ever really care to watch like the live action stuff with family and with friends, and I just have been busy, out of my mind, wishing I could make the stuff. Unfortunately, work hasn't been that kind to me, so it is what it is. I have been doing a fair bit of writing. I have a bunch of ideas for videos that I want to do, but haven't really had the time to get around to them because mostly by the time I'm done with work, I end up completely dead mentally. Like I don't want to do anything. I want to come home and I want to just shoot some bots, you know? But now, all that said, I did just before this stream went live watch the first 2 episodes of Tokyo Ghoul, and I like it. I don't think it quite lived up to how much it was hyped for me. But it was good. It was fun. I do like that it's a little bit darker. I need to stop fidgeting. Keep making all sorts of noises with that. But look, it's good. I give it like an 8 right now, but my internet's being fucky, so it was kind of hard to enjoy it when like every 30 seconds it would buffer. That's why I was only able to get 2 episodes in. That and everyone seemed to want to talk to me right before I started doing this. So yeah. That was not the most fun experience. In other words, I did this week's indie project that I found, the book. There's a bit of a story that kind of goes with this one because it's one I've been seeing for quite some time. I'm going to bring this up and go over this a little bit. So, oh, it has me in solo format. That's explains that. So, this is Graysons of Grimoire. It is a 3-novel long series that you can get on Amazon. I do recommend that you get yourself a proper physical copy of this series because they can't change physical media. They have to physically come to you and replace it if they really want to get their hands on it. That being said, it's a fantasy magic series about, well, this is what the author has to say about the first book. So, a new fantasy series spanning 2 worlds begins. Graces of Grimoire is an ensemble character-driven fantasy adventure story about family, courage, and self-discovery. From the city these mages call home to the fantastical and wondrous enchanted domain, where answers to their deepest questions and struggles reside, they'll face down deadly evils while striving to find where they belong. It all begins here. The city of Grimoire is home to mages, wielders of marvelous and varied magics. Just got flashed by that. They think they know all there is to know about the powers they wield, but when Caleb Grayson meets the mysterious Isabel, a young girl who can use magic in impossible ways, that knowledge is tested. For Caleb, the time mage who struggles to bear the burden of his power. For Chelsea, a hunter harboring dark secrets that threatens the one she loves. For Faye, an artist whose drawings hold secrets even she doesn't understand. For Shauna and Shias, twins, trying to solve the mystery behind their ever-increasing number of missing children. For Delilah, the youngest of her family who wields astonishing power and yet struggles with finding her place. These 6 unlikely heroes embark on an adventure into a magical world beyond their own. A world that draws out the deepest fears. A world that holds answers to their most important and most secret questions. A world housing evils that threaten all they hold dear. So, basically, how I ended up, finding out about this book, and I am genuinely interested in it, and I have already, put in my order for it. I was I joined a stream on A Drink with Crazy called Comic Shop Wednesday. I do highly recommend you go check that out if you are into indie comics and supporting the little guy. And that was the project that caught my eye for the night. And look, I'll just say this: I've been on there twice, and I haven't missed yet. So, oops, that's what I wanted to do. There we go. So yeah, I mean, look, I always try to start out with one of those small little projects, something that I throw out there just to try and support indie creators, because let's face it, the big stuff kind of sucks now. The more popular a title is, the more tourists want to hijack it, and the more they want to make it theirs and change it for a modern audience, so to speak. Well, that's why indie stuff is important. That's why physical stuff is important. Because as these tourists try to hijack more and more properties, more and more people are going to get sick and tired of it, and they're just going to go somewhere else. And genuinely, I do think a lot of these indie creators have good stories to tell. You're never actually guaranteed to know where your next favorite read or watch is going to come from. So that's pretty much the whole reason why I do that shout out at the beginning of every one of my streams. It is why I pick a project and go over it, because there's always something new out there to discover. Someone who flies way under the radar and doesn't get quite the attention they deserve. But that being said, I think I kind of want to talk about one of the there is another thing that I'll bring up later, but hopefully hopefully I won't be alone for the entire night. What do we want to go over next? What should I do next? What should I do? That's not quite what I wanted to do. Let's move into one of the smaller, lighter. Let's just go with we're gonna do this. There we go. So this was an interesting story that popped up in my feed, because I had some really, really random thoughts about it. So, documents found on a North Korean server suggest U.S. studios may have unknowingly outsourced animation work. So, North Korean illustrators and graphic designers appear to have helped produce work for U.S. animation studios unbeknownst to those companies, suggesting that unreleased episodes of a few popular American cartoons could include work from one of the most closed-off economies in the world. The revelation comes from a trove of documents recently discovered by U.S. researchers inside a computer server housed in North Korea. It's unclear how the files ended up in this tightly controlled portion of the internet, but the researchers who analyzed them told CNN they appear to be the result of work that was unknowingly outsourced to North Korean workers. This is kind of a weird story, honestly, and I have some thoughts about where this is all going and the absolute So the U.S. has strict sanctions prohibiting American companies from doing business with the nuclear-armed regime, in addition to drawing for an upcoming season of the Amazon Prime show Invincible. The files also contain sketches and videos that resemble work from Ianu Child of Wonder, a superhero series slated to air on Max. The streaming service, along with CNN, is now owned. Okay, that's just... We're going to shift over because there's a related article, which is that it's not just the U.S. That there's an isekai series also going through this. So, analysis of leaked cloud server files reveal that a North Korean animation studio may have worked on upcoming summer 2024 anime despite sanctions. So, analysis of leaked cloud server files reveals that North Korean animation studios may have worked on an upcoming summer 2024 isekai anime series despite being under sanctions. 38 North published the article revealing that a North Korean animation studios was believed to have worked on the upcoming anime Dahlia in Bloom. This is despite sanctions currently being observed forbidding business from working with the state-owned North Korean companies. Okay. I'm curious because if... adding that the Chinese company likely acted as an intermediary between North Korea. Okay. I brought this whole topic up because I thought it was kind of funny. And I know this absolutely won't happen, but imagine if an international conflict spawns from the fact that one random ass isekai anime happened to be animated by a North Korean studio. Imagine that being the match that lit the fires of World War III. I guess things are getting better, JM, because I finally get a fucking break this weekend. After 13 days straight, I get to relax. But yeah, basically, as far as this goes, so North Korea is being sanctioned by a bunch of nations, and no one's allowed to do business there. So how did this shit end up there? Well, it was likely the result of China, pawning it off, because the Japanese studios and American studios pawn things off overseas in order to reduce their labor costs. On top of that, I mean, you have China doing the same thing. So what likely happened is the U.S. passed the animation off to China, or Japan passed their animation off to China. Because keep in mind, Invincible and Dahlia in Bloom both ended up on a Korean server. Likely, the companies responsible passed the animation off to someone in China, who then passed it off to a North Korean studio, which, ends up indirectly violating sanctions. I don't think China adheres to those sanctions, but I think the U.S. has all allies applying those same sanctions. This is interesting. Sorry, I'm going to bring this article back up because there's something here. So that's an interesting little bit. So despite its many risks, outsourcing in the Japanese anime industry is often done due to significant lower labor costs. While it underpins the industry's production rate, with over 200 anime series being produced annually, many argue that overseas studios' lack of training in Japan's animation style leads to numerous errors and retakes. Jujutsu Kaisen Zero chief animation director Nishi Terumi routinely highlights the issue of retakes, alluding to this when he stated that more anime studio bankruptcies are coming. Conversely, outsource also has the negative effect of amplifying discrimination and prejudice against other countries. An animator recently highlighted how many in Japan look down on Korea and China, particularly adding that the underlying assumption was that China shouldn't be utilized unless it's cheap. Wow. That was a random spin, that random direction that went that I didn't expect. But no, back to what I was saying. So the U.S. has all their allies under, sanctions and all, not under sanctions, applying sanctions to North Korea, which would make things really interesting. How are they going to enforce these sanctions now that this has apparently happened? Is this going to be treated as like, oh, well, a middleman did it? Because then you open the door. Obviously, I already made the joke about, like, if imagine if you if this was the cause of World War III. Looking back in history, yeah, well, why did all these nations go to war for a third time? Why did nukes start flying, huh? Well, it all started with an isekai anime. It all started with a cartoon. That would be the absolutely funniest thing to jot down in history. It would be a wild ass. That's where my mind went with it. Was like, imagine if, because of violated sanctions, that this turned into a whole international conflict, which I'm hoping it doesn't. I don't want that. Okay. I'm just saying it would be really funny if it did turn into a whole international incident. Okay. There's one thing that I've really been debating recently. One thing I've really thought hard on. And it's the fact that doing these solo streams just isn't the thing. I need I either need to just stop doing the streaming and focus entirely on videos, or I need to straight up get a regular co-host for this series, or a couple of people who want to come on and talk all this shit that I can bounce off of. Because doing this alone, I'm realizing it's probably not the most entertaining thing to experience. So it would be nice to have someone around who could do this with me. That, and also the idea of having someone who's a little bit more skilled than myself to help with the editing aspect, getting a proper intro made for this, because I will admit I'm not the greatest at not the greatest at the high quality editing stuff for intros and all that. I still got to figure that shit out. I really need to sit down and just take the time to learn how to do that stuff, and actually put in some effort to learn it. But it would be nice to have more people on here. I wish I could get more people. So after dying of overwork, I'm just curious what this Dahlia in Bloom thing is. So I'm reading the description here, and after dying of overwork in Japan, Dahlia is reborn in a world filled with magic. Raised by a master of magical tool making, she develops a passion for the craft and becomes engaged to her father's apprentice. Before her father can see her wed, however, he suddenly passes away. As if this weren't enough, on the day of the wedding, her fiancé announces that he's in love, but not with her. Oh, okay. Realizes she needs to live for herself. She vows to be her woman and devote herself to her craft, even if it's not quite the quiet life she was hoping for. From a chance encounter with a knight to starting her own company, there are challenges aplenty on the horizon, but this young craftswoman is no longer a shrinking violet. She's Dahlia, and okay. All right, cool. Honestly, not the most interesting premise, but I know a few people who are probably going to be interested in it just because it's an isekai. But I can kill that. Hopefully it doesn't brick my fucking laptop by just closing a couple of tabs. All right. Oh, you know what? That's one thing I didn't do. I didn't go over some of the other stuff. So I may not have watched a lot, but I have been reading. I do have lunch breaks that I can do some reading on. And one of the things, obviously, I read some digital manga and stuff. I have started reading The Way of the House Husband. And that shit's funny. Like, that is one of the most genius comedy mangas that has ever graced this planet. Another thing that I was finally able to catch another volume on was Defrag, and I straight up love that series, actually. It's just fun. It's insane and fun. And there's an anime for it for like the first couple of volumes. Defrag, yeah. But as far as what I've been able to do on my lunch breaks, I've been reading this, Jisedai, and honestly, it's a really, really good book so far. Basically, the premise is that the main character is a corporate assassin. And now this is sort of like cyberpunk in Tokyo. So obviously he has his cybernetic enhancements. He is like physically, and he's trained with a sword because guns are forbidden. He's an assassin. He's quiet. But basically, he has like super regeneration. He's really well trained, and he's supposed to be like this ultimate corporate assassin, and then ends up like stumbling on this like runaway girl who was basically sold to a brothel. And she's just finally like gotten the chance to escape, and she's on the run, and he takes her under his wing, and shit goes south because the corporation he works for doesn't like the fact that he's showing kindness to people. And now I'm in the middle of the final part where he's basically, fighting for his life against other assassins. So that's cool. That's something I've been very happy in. You can go get G Sedai. Both books are up on Amazon. I have both of them. So the first one, not very thick. Not very long. It's just barely above 100 pages. Let's see. That's about the author. 139 pages. That's how long it is. It's not a very big read. The other one, much, much bigger. The other thing I got this week, it's a comic that I ordered a while back because I am a fan of the art and comics of one Von Kloss. Look, I don't care about the the dumb shit that goes down in comics with a bunch of people ankle biting each other like retards. I don't care about the Comicsgate versus Eric July shit, but I do care. So this wasn't actually a Von Kloss book, but I saw that he did a crossover with it for Terror in the Trenches, and I actually like the premise. So this is Judex, and I actually have a couple of different covers here. So that's the foil version, very obvious by the fact that it's, shiny. This one, also very cool. And this one. Basically, the idea is you have a French vigilante administering justice to Nazi soldiers occupying Paris. Pretty based premise, if I do say so myself. I like it, but it came with a lot of like cool little rewards. So let me see if I can get this out of the bag here. So it even came with like this acrylic plate of like the crossover thing, where it's all in Von Kloss's art style, with the terror, with the Black Terror and Judex right at the front. Cool stuff. It came with some stickers, some art cards, but by far, I think the coolest little reward that it ended up coming with was if I can get this, I'll just came with like an actual coin. Which I think is absolutely awesome. So yeah, that campaign came with some really cool rewards, and really fun stuff. It also came with some like random art prints and stuff that I did enjoy. So that's something that I have not had the time yet to sit down and read, because it is work on a video, live stream, or just try and keep up on the seasonal watches and all that, because that is life. So I'm going to try and get that. I have a break tomorrow, finally, the first in who knows how long. I'm going to try and read that. I'm going to try and catch up on some of the anime that I have not watched yet, and hopefully get through eventually get through all of the books that I haven't read that are, because that stack over there, yeah, that's all stuff I haven't read yet. And even on the shelves behind me, there are still things that I haven't read, and I am actively ordering more like an idiot. So I have a giant stack of things I need to reread. At the same time, I also want to reread Berserk. But enough of my my writing woes. It's not like I haven't had like, it's not like I've had zero time to try and keep up with the things I liked. So like I mentioned, Defrag, Way of the House Husband, those have been entertaining comedies. G Sedai, really well written, a little darker, but it does the sort of thing that I like out of a hero, where it's kind of like doing something small that gives that something small and hopeful, I guess you could call it. He's basically just protecting one girl, is all he's doing out of his own free will, like violating his own code of operation to protect this one girl that he's taken a liking to, for no other fact than he was kind of reminded of himself in that instance. And then Judex, I just like the idea of, vigilantes, street level heroes, and all that stuff. And the aesthetic on it just looks great. Like, come on. You can't tell me that doesn't look cool. Or the other one. But yeah, that's basically been everything I've got. Oh, another thing I did is I finished the Batman project, which was really fun to finally like get back into like Legos and have something like I could properly put together, because as a kid I was an idiot. I took all mine apart. I had some really cool shit too. Like I still wish I had that MTT. But now I have this, and they are releasing the Batman the Animated Series Batmobile Lego kit in June. that I absolutely want. You know what? Nah, maybe I don't want to go down that rabbit hole yet. Not on stream anyway. I got plenty of other stuff here that I want to cover tonight, and I'm kind of saving the other interesting ones for later in the night. So I'm going to pull up some game news. Some anime game news, I should say. Let's So I'm not like the hugest fan of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, but it's a good series. Like, I'll acknowledge that it has its really good moments. However, it seems to be like one of the most popular isekais, and now, like, God, this website layout is fucking awful. Like, it's just, ugh. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime series gets action RPG for console and PC. I think that is probably one of the coolest things about it is that it's like a proper game that they're making with this. Now, I know that ReZero is already getting its game, but it literally, like, all they've ever shown us of the ReZero game is wow, you can be character and walk around in empty world. Like, look, if I am going to play a ReZero game, that is like the perfect like anime, aside from Berserk, to do a Soulsborne game with. Because Subaru literally just he dies and he comes back over and over again. It makes perfect sense. And I mean, you also have a bunch of cool characters. Like, who wouldn't want to play as fucking Wilhelm van Estrella? But I'm getting way off topic. So this is the actual article. Can I just straight up full screen this? There we go. So that you can, so it's easier to see. So Bandai Namco Entertainment announced on Thursday that That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime series is getting an action role-playing game titled That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Isekai Chronicles for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC. Via Steam on August 8th. The company streamed this trailer. So I'm curious to see what this is all going to be about. Oh, that's fucking loud. Is it going to show me some like proper gameplay? I kind of like the art style, not gonna lie. Is it literally just gonna be like the game, but you're playing as the main character? Okay. Interesting so far. It's kind of like the side scrolling aspect to it. Like, I'm not opposed to a game like that, but I've never really dabbled in the genre. So I'm curious to see if this will even be any fun. Generally, the kinds of things I'm normally into are like no, StreamYards is going to be an absolute bastard over this. Okay. Generally, the kinds of games, this generally isn't my thing, I should say. The kinds of games I tend to get into are like more open world, grindier kind of things. So like Ark. I enjoy Helldivers. Helldivers is fucking awesome. I like Borderlands. I like Warframe, Monster Hunter. Those are the kinds of games I really do enjoy. Is it going to So it's going to show us like some properly like fun looking. Because if this whole game is just going to be bodying nobodies on a 2D level, I'm not really sure I'd want to mess around with it. Oh God, my screen just went. Okay, I think city building. Jura Tempest Federation develops. Okay. Interesting. So you're literally just playing that time I got. Okay. Which, look, to be fair, if you're into this series, would probably be very entertaining to you. It's what you want to see. You actually want to see, like, playing that time I got reincarnated as a slime. But so far, like, the action and stuff, the more fun part of it to me seems to be the sorry, I just got a really loud fucking ping. Sorry, that totally threw me off. Oh.
Yeah.
Hello, how you doing?
Oh,
It's been a
dude.
while.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah. Jeez, what's it been like? A month? 5 weeks?
36 days at least since I streamed. 37.
Mm-hmm. I was telling Roman he should change the name to the Solo Romecast.
And just do it by himself.
Yeah.
That's what I told him he could, and he was like, dude, that just doesn't feel right for me to do it without you. Like,
to be fair, there's like a significant difference between having like doing a solo stream and having a co-host.
Oh yeah, I can't
because having someone to bounce off of is just it makes things so much more fun to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why like I'm gonna when I do my my streams, because I'm gonna start getting to freaking work on that. I've already got a couple people lined up that would be like regulars. You as well, dude, for the anime stuff.
Hell yeah, dude. I mean, if you have like some big show or something you want to make an entire episode out of, like another like Fallout or Rings of Power or whatever, I'll watch it just to do the show.
There you go. I mean, Rings of Power, I'm gonna freaking destroy when it comes out,
bro. So, I think the one that because I do more than just the anime stuff. Like I watch cartoons and stuff.
Yeah,
I couldn't do Velma season 2. I wanted to get like go and like make fun of it, and I'm just like, it's not even fun to like make fun of it. It's like just a misery and pain. So I went to watch Disparu do his reviews of it. I couldn't even watch Disparu's reviews. It's just such a bad show.
I give him credit because I can't make it through that show. I tried with season 1 just so I could talk about things, and even like, oh dude, it's just so, it's not even like, it's not that it's just bad. It's that it's like offensively cringy.
Yeah.
Like it's like, it's not even like you can just go, oh, this show's woke. It's like so cringy to the point where it makes me want to like freaking just pull my eardrums out and my eyeballs.
Yeah. So have you I don't think you've seen much of that time I got reincarnated as a slime, have you?
I have not. No, I've only seen what my friend watches because he freaking got really into it when it first came out.
I actually think the first season of this series is the weakest, and the second is much better.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I haven't watched season 3, but like it's a decent show. I like that it's much different from. I definitely give it the S tier title just because it's one of those that is very creative and unique. But it can be a little hard to get into because there's a lot of setup in the first season. But they have decided that they're going to announce a game for it. It's like an action JRPG.
That I heard about.
Yeah. And it's basically like this whole like side scrolling thing. You got like it looks like you're going to be able to do a like city building that affects your characters in battle. From what I'm seeing from this. Yeah. But I was just covering that topic because I thought it would be interesting to do on my own.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that show, I'll be honest with you. When I heard the name, this is before I was like really into anime, you know? So when I heard the name, I was like, that sounds so stupid. Now you catch me watching a show called Kaguya-sama Love is War. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Right.
Dude, there's some good stuff coming out this year, and some good stuff that's out right now. So
I've been meaning to talk to you about what I should watch right now because I'm in a severe it's been a month, so like I'm severely lacking any type of anime to watch right now. Because all my shows are done for the most part.
Have you watched Solo Leveling?
I have not. That's one I hear people talking about like crazy though.
Okay, so go into it looking solely for like a John Wick style anime.
What about Ninja Kamui?
Another one that's kind of like that. I watched the first 3 episodes of Ninja Kamui. I really like it. Which if you don't know, it's directed by Sung-Hoo Park, who did Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 and Jujutsu Kaisen 0. He's the director for both of those. Yeah, he went off and started his own studio.
Gotcha. The Dandadan's one I'm excited for, just from what you've talked about and what my friends are telling me. But that's
have you read Dandadan, dude?
I've only seen parts of it, and I did read, or I was shown the chapter with what is it? What do they call her? Something Granny?
Oh, Turbo Granny?
Turbo Granny, yeah. I would have said Ninja Granny, but close enough.
I think that's going to be one of the best anime of the year. But one of my personal favorites of all time is returning this year. That's ReZero in the fall. It's like the year of like the returning isekai. So Overlord gets a new movie.
Really?
Jobless Reincarnation is in Core 2 of Season 2 right now.
Okay.
Konosuba returned. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is in Season 3. Like all of the best isekai. Oh, Saga of Tanya the Evil. All the best isekais fucking came out this year.
Yeah, you're like my isekai dude. Like if I need an isekai, you're the person I would ask.
But as far as that goes, back to what you should be watching. The other recommendation I have for you is Kaiju number 8.
That's from the creator of Tokyo Ghoul, right?
I don't think so.
Or it's the same studio, I think. Something like that. I don't
remember either way.
I know Ivan was super hype on it.
Kaiju number 8 is, if they keep up the momentum of that first episode, which just absolutely came out fucking swinging. I did a video on it. Like fucking one of the top 10 anime of the year, if it keeps up that momentum.
Okay.
Like both Solo Leveling and Kaiju number 8 this year, really, really strong contenders. Another one
leveling about again.
Basically
episode of Ninja Kamui, and I saw clips of Kaiju number 8.
Yeah, so Solo Leveling is basically about this guy who is like the weakest hunter in all mankind. Basically, hunters are people who have like this special magic power that allows them to go into like alternate dimensions that just pop up across the world, and they can fight monsters and get stuff. They have to close the dungeons or else the monsters start pouring out. Anyway, so basically the weakest hunter of all mankind goes on this goes into this dungeon for like a normal mission. They find out it's a double dungeon, which means that there's 2 bosses that they have to kill in order to close the thing. And Well, it turns out that the second part of the dungeon was this massive trap, and a bunch of people die, and he basically sacrifices himself to save them. And right before he's about to die, he gets this message pop up on like a game screen that says, "Would you like to become a player?"
Oh shit!
And it prevents him from dying, and it gives him the ability to constantly increase his power, like he's leveling up,
Huh?
among other things. So yeah, it's basically like the weakest dude in all of history gets the ability to become like the god of fucking chins and turns into a Giga Chad.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty sick.
it's a really simple like power fantasy kind of story, but dude, A1 kills it with the animation on that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they're a great studio. So,
Yep.
oh, dude, that's awesome. All right, so I will watch that.
Yeah. What else would I recommend? Delicious in Dungeon.
I've seen the clip or the thumbnail for that, but I have no idea what it's about.
It is it's not an isekai, it's a fantasy series. And they kind of they try to portray it as like a food anime.
Okay.
But don't watch for the food aspect, you'll be disappointed. Watch for the fantasy aspect because it's gonna be a slow boil on that one. You'll get into it and like it'll be kind of like, okay, this is kind of funny, this is kind of cool, and then you'll get to episode 9 and everything will just take a fucking turn. You'll be like, wow, that was insane. They just decided to go a completely different direction than what I expected with it. It went from a 7 to a 9 in one episode, basically.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right, that sounds delicious in Dungeon. All right. I've never watched a food anime, to be honest with you.
Neither have I. Delicious in Dungeon is the first one, and it's an excellent adventure series.
Okay, yeah, so I won't be watching it for the food aspect, so I won't be disappointed.
There's also like I've been behind because I have been. Tomorrow is the first break in 2 weeks that I will get from work, so I am way far behind on everything that I need to watch. The other one that I want to check out, I haven't checked it out yet. It's called Fable. And it's basically the world's greatest hitman is told by his boss to take a break and lay low for a year. And for that year, he is absolutely under no circumstance allowed to kill anyone. So he has to pretend to be a normal dude. So his assistant basically is takes up the role as like his fake sister, and they have to live together, and it's a comedy pretty much. And
well, it sounds like something I might watch.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
What I did start today though, you'll probably be happy to hear this, is Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, let's go, dude.
I got to watch the first 2 episodes before I went live today.
What'd you think?
Episode I'm going to be honest, I wasn't into it for the first half of episode 1, but it's growing on me.
What'd you think of did you know about Rize?
No, but I called it right away. Yeah. Like the moment that she walked on screen, I'm like, oh, I know what this bitch is. I know what's going to happen here.
Dude, it's going to get even wilder, with the binge eater and stuff. Her in general. And the fact that Kaneki has her organ now, right?
Yeah.
And so episode 2, is that where he's starting to freak out? Where he's trying to eat and
that's the one where he gets into the fight with the college student. Or with the other.
Oh yeah. With what's his name? Nishiki.
Yeah.
Nishiki's the man, dude. I'm telling you.
So
Toka. She's one of my anime waifus. Not even gonna lie. I love that character. She's awesome.
I
Discord, probably. Shut up. Discord never stops talking.
You know you can mute channels, right?
Yeah, but then if I mute the channels, I'll never unmute them. And then people be like tagging me, and I'll be like,
dude, I have the dojo set to mentions only because they were so busy in there when I first joined.
That's exactly what it is going off right now.
Yeah, I think everyone is just in there talking about content or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, what else is good?
I mean, dude, right?
I think you would like.
I just watched. Well, it's not anime, but I just watched the first 4 episodes of Fallout. I'm actually enjoying it.
So here's what I've heard about Fallout, and I'm still meaning to watch it. It's a really, really well done series.
Yes.
If it were to be on its own, the biggest complaint that I've heard everyone say is that it absolutely destroys the shit out of everything before Fallout 3.
Well, Fallout 1 and 2 were like top-down build a vault games. Like they weren't really like. So before Fallout 3,
they weren't build a vault games. No, they were
they were like top-down, like different.
Yes.
The lore was different. I never played Fallout 1 or Fallout 2, but 3 I did play. New Vegas I loved. 4's all right. 76 I like because I could play with friends. But I think they got the world correct for the most part. There is some like differences, but I like, for instance, one of the scenes I really liked is when you first get introduced to the main character. She's going through her attributes. So it's like what you do in the beginning of a Fallout game to pick your different charisma points or whatever attribute points, I guess. But she's like, she goes through it just explaining what she is to like the overseers of the vault. And then that's kind of like a way that they do that. And like they'll use the stims, they'll use like Radaway and stuff like that from Radiation. The Ghoul's the best character so far.
That's what I've heard.
But it's Walton Goggins, so he's a great actor. He's just a good, if you put him in anything as a cowboy, he's good. So I think it's a good show.
Cowboy.
Like I don't think it's I'm not like I'm a big Fallout fan, but I don't know all the super crazy lore stuff beforehand. But to me, every single time that you make your own character in Fallout, the story's a little bit different. So, like you're always coming out into the world not knowing Jack. Because you're just usually, I think in 3 you're a Vault Dweller, but I don't know. New Vegas you're not. But then in 4 and 76 you're a Vault Dweller who comes out on the surface. But for me, like when she comes out onto the surface in the first episode, it's very much like the first time I played Fallout or an Elder Scrolls game, where like you're just thrust into the world and it's like, all right, figure it out. And I think they did a good way of interpreting that. The one thing that's a little bit strange is the way they pace the first couple episodes, because they're trying to introduce you to characters that are in different locations or different factions. And first of all, they do a really good job of introducing the Ghoul, but it'll switch back and forth. Like it literally will pop up and say Lucy, and then it's like about Lucy. And it'll pop up and say Maximus, and then it's about a dude in the Brotherhood of Steel. And then it'll like, the screen will literally turn black and switch to somebody else doing something.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, but it works.
Yeah, no, like literally, like from everyone, the only complaints I've heard about it were like after episode 5, it started like blasting the lore, like particularly New Vegas. From what I've heard, it decanonizes New Vegas.
Okay, so yeah, that I'm not sure of because I'm on 5. I just like him at the beginning of 5 now, so.
Another piece of news that I've been sitting on that I think you might find interesting. Chainsaw Man's creator has a his first manga is actually getting a movie.
Oh, that's the crazy one that he did. That's like
or not, maybe not his first manga, but one of the one shots he did or something like that. Something he did before Chainsaw Man. It's called like Look Back or something. It's getting a movie.
Oh, I don't know if I
Yeah.
think I'm thinking of something else then.
It's kind of funny because it's like nothing like Chainsaw. It's like a slice of life, like I think romance kind of thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out though, because the writing, is going to be good.
Yeah, actually, getting into part. So shout out to Weebs and Waifus because I'm in their Discord, and me, Tuffety, and Muffler Tape are constantly talking about random shit. Usually it's Don and Chainsaw Man. So we got me and Muffler Tape got into this whole conversation about like Chainsaw Man versus Jujutsu Kaisen, like which one is better, like why we like which one and all of that. And I'm like, he laid out this like really good analysis of Chainsaw Man about how like it's basically Denji growing up. Like the whole first arc, the first part 1 is like him as like this immature little idiot, and then part 2 is he actually has to look out for other people. He actually has to grow up and like be mature about things.
Part 2 is he's completely, right? He's like almost completely different. Mm-hmm. I think people who are not reading the manga are gonna really like, they're gonna get more out of his growth, because for us, it's like we can just keep reading it. Like for me, when I got into Chainsaw before season 1 came out, I was already on like chapter 70 something when the anime came out. So then all I had to do was catch up to 99 to finish part 1. And I think that was right as part 2 was coming out. So seeing that growth of Denji was like boom, 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 boom for me, because I was reading like, I was flying through it. Whereas if you're not a manga reader and you're waiting now from season to season, like I know people are going to have their minds blown by Bomb Devil. No pun intended.
Yeah, dude, the fucking Wreath arc is going to be great.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And then after that, the way that things go down, like the moral of the story of Chainsaw Man is literally like, don't trust anybody.
Don't trust women.
Don't trust women in particular. But like,
the funniest part of that is like Fujimoto. I think that was, I got that right. Yeah. He based Makima off of a chick who bullied him in college.
Yo, that's so freaking accurate, though. Like, I can see that. That's
like,
hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
That's hilarious.
That's the story that I heard about it. It's really fucking fun.
I believe it, because she does act like a prissy college girl in a way, who has got all the power. So it was probably some rich college girl, right? Who's probably just super like always putting her foot on people, bro. She probably called him a dog.
Yeah, probably. I do have one other thing here that I've been waiting for you to show up, because I think this is a really funny trend that happened on Twitter. So, what do you think the best possible crossover you could come up with would be?
Oh, for like anime, like a
yeah. So if you were going to like take, say, okay, I'll limit to this. If you could take a like Western cartoon character and just put them in like every anime, what would you choose?
A Western cartoon character?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna count Avatar, because I would put it.
So like, basically, like imagine if you just had this character do like a random cameo for like 30 seconds in like a bunch of different anime.
Oh, dude, I'd put like, oh shit, if it wasn't like something ridiculous like Peter Griffin, it would have to be like, can I do 2 characters? It'd be Mordecai and Rigby from like English.
We're gonna put the hurt on him. I think he wants us to put the hurt on him.
Yeah, or them just in the background, like somebody kicks ass and they just go, whoa.
Well, Twitter took to inserting Foghorn Leghorn into just about every anime they could, and I have a string of posts here, so let me see if I can share my screen really quick.
That's absolutely awesome.
This is on Firefox, so I'm gonna copy the link, move it over to to Google, because if I don't do it on Google, for some reason I have to share the entire fucking tab, and I don't want people to see all my
All your tabs.
homework files. My homework files, yes.
Yeah, your homework files. You're a great student, though. I'll be honest with you.
I'm sorry,
Dude,
what?
I said you're a great student, man.
Oh,
Homework files.
I heard that wrong. So
What you think I said?
I don't want to say it. So basically, here's what we've got. So it started with this. So are you familiar with Please Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro?
I have heard of that.
Basically, this chick just bullies the shit out of this spineless fucking loser. I hate this series so much. It's so goddamn annoying.
Sounds
Anyway, so it started with this. So, boy, I said, boy, what's the sense in letting that woman over there push you into the river and getting your shirt and britches wet? Boy, you gotta have some self-respect. Pick your head up, boy, and tell that Nagatoro that you ain't putting up with her preposterous behavior anymore, son. Which then led to
Leghorn wins. Already, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
honestly, can we please make it a trend to have Foghorn Leghorn ramble on to random anime characters? To which we ended up, if I can actually like pull this up really quick. Can I go to the? I want to go to this. There we go. To the. It's not going to show me the fucking quote tweets.
Yeah, what?
Because the fucking.
Oh, hold on. Go to. That is weird.
Yeah, why can't I? Is it because I'm technically not logged in? No,
You
I
should
am.
Click on it. You should be able to click on that, like the actual post, and then scroll down.
Oh, view quotes. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
some of these are great. I was scrolling through them.
Boy, I said, boy, did I tell you not to let?
What did I tell you? Do not let Cell reach his perfect form. Look at you now, boy, covered in more dirt than the desert. Your bruises got bruises, boy, about as sharp as a bowling ball. Boy just couldn't help himself. Now the boy can't help but fly.
You know who else would be really good? Bugs Bunny would be great.
Yeah.
Young lady, I say, young lady, there was no reason to be mocking an orphan for being an orphan in front of an orphan. I say, didn't your parents taught you any better? That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah. This one. Girl, I say, girl, did you really think you could take on all them EVA series in 3.5 minutes? Y'all talk. You need to think realistically. I say this ought to teach you a lesson, girl.
He sticks it in there. What the hell? You see, sons, I said that girl would be crying rivers more than a Mississippi. I told you getting your bodies back would do you good. Done good. It has. Yeah, true.
This is the best one of Vegeta. Boy, I said, boy, your final flash ain't nothing more than a flash in the pan, boy. You missed it. Flew right over me. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a blast like that, boy. No wonder you called us saying, all talk and nothing else. Now pay attention when I'm talking to you.
That is a good one. Yo, he's just screaming at her, dude.
I love the fact that this is so well photoshopped.
Yeah, that's like a perfect freaking Photoshop. He's even poking her in the chest. He's like, listen here, girlie.
You call yourself a sailor? You ain't even got a boat. I ain't ever seen you rig a jib or weigh an anchor. Haul the fore brace or something. You half legs and you ain't got an ounce of sea in either of them. Reckon you don't know your leewards from your edgewards, your starboards from your larboards.
Freaking Cell, dude.
But basically, it's all just the greatest fucking quotes.
I want to see him talking to like in a really dark anime. Like, dude, like Goblin
I
Slayer.
forgot
Told
this
you,
one
boy,
existed.
not to bring a long sword in a cave.
Oh, here we go. I didn't see this one. This is new. Now, I don't condone eating unclean food, but when circumstances call for survival, I would not hesitate. I say I would not hesitate to eat dungeon monsters. Preparation should be done well. I say you got to do your daily required nutrition intake. I gotta get your vitals up.
Yo.
Boy, I said, boy, have you lost your marbles, son? The way you using that shotgun gun might as well be gone.
That's a joke, son. You gotta be quicker than that. Quick as lightning. Blade that is.
Your Chidori is you're boring. Your birds ain't chirping. I know a Tweety bird who's a lot tougher.
Yo, what? Boy, I said, boy, you just couldn't listen to your old master, huh? Now look at you. Cooked like a smoked brisket on a Sunday afternoon. Jumping to all them conclusions. Tisk, tisk, tisk. So much for anime. Boy, you betrayed your wife and yourself. It's a darn shame. Son, a darn shame. True. Come on, Anakin.
I say, lass, I told you that it was a mimic, and yet you didn't listen. That spell is 99% accurate, and that 1% chance there's a grimoire is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now look at yourself. You're getting eaten alive all because you didn't listen to what I say.
There has to be an Attack on Titan one somewhere, dude.
Oh, God. I say, there you go, boy. Put paws on him. He been a thorn in your side for too long. If and that boy thinks he can keep up with his preposterous pestering and his dirty deeds, he's got another thing coming to him.
The internet is once again undefeated, dude.
The internet is amazing. So let's see what. There's way more in here than I thought.
Oh, dude, it doesn't take long. Chainsaw.
Boy, I said, boy, you gotta stop quivering like a sack of wet mice and face the katana again. You can't say I can't. You can't just let him give your heart to the gun devil like a hot biscuit on a Sunday, boy. You gotta show him that he puts the dick in predictable. You hear?
Dude, I was just watching somebody today react to Chainsaw for like the first time, and they were reacting to that episode with where Himeno dies.
Yeah,
and he was like, "What is that? A machete man?" And I lost my shit, dude. He started calling him like machete something. Oh no, dude!
It happened. Yes.
Oh no.
Boy, I said, boy, what you think you're doing with that there egg of the king there, boy? Like you're some kind of mother with her hand showing off her youngin'? Stand up, boy. You're getting your bandages wet. What kind of man trades his loyal comrades for a stone house and a fancy chair?
Freaking Griffith.
Shinji. Now listen here, listen here, Shinji, right now. Might seem like life's giving you a bad hand, boy, but what you gotta realize is that life ain't a simple game of blackjack. See, it's more like a game of checkers, see? It might seem like you got a bunch of puny. This is breaking my brain, dude.
Yeah, dude, this is like
Buzz Lightyear. More. It just turns into. I have no idea what this one is.
Yeah, I have no idea what anime that is.
Oh, fuck.
Boy, I say, boy, your final flash ain't nothing more than a flash in the pan, boy. You missed it. Flew right over me. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a blast like that, boy. No wonder you called to say it. All talk and nothing else. Now pay attention when I'm talking to you.
Okay. Yeah, there's that one. But yeah, dude, I got such a kick out of going.
Once again, undefeated. Internet is undefeated.
And the internet is absolutely amazing for that.
I freaking love it.
But I wanted to say that fucking Foghorn Leghorn shouting at random anime characters. New topic. So Shonen Jump has decided to do something kind of interesting.
What's that?
Do you like manga?
I love manga.
Do you like history?
I do. I like history.
How about history manga?
Oh.
Shueisha announces history manga series with Shonen Jump's top creators.
Yuki Tabata, let's go.
So basically, down here, they're going to do a bunch of subjects, and here's what they have lined up. So Lenin is going to be done by Golden Kamui's Noda Satoru. Churchill and Hitler. Yeah, by Spy Family's Endo Tatsuya. Ramses II by Kingdom's Hara Yasuhisa. Kohei Horikoshi doing Caesar and Cleopatra.
Joan of Arc is Yuki Tabata. That's going to be interesting, dude.
I think that's actually going to be... Promise Neverland doing Leonardo da Vinci. Napoleon by Hirohiko Araki. I do not care for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Neither do I.
Ito Hirofumi and Bismarck. Assassination Class.
Ivan's gonna love that one.
Yeah, probably. But I just thought this was such like a cool thing because like look at like the different art styles that they have. Like
that one hit his face, bro.
Right. Like you can see all the different styles. Like I think they did actually pick a like really good styles for each one.
I think Joan of Arc actually looks like Nero.
She does, but I love the style of Black Clover like that.
Actually, you know what she looks like right there? She looks like Sister Lily. She actually does. Oh, I love.
Oh, this seems like it's going to be World War I.
Yeah, I think so.
Because those look like pre-Imperial Japan uniforms. And that doesn't look like anything. That looks like Germany, World War I. So this probably looks like where the Japanese actually fought in World War One.
Oh, dude, I would like to see Rasputin. That'd be sick. If they continue stuff like that, give me a story about Rasputin. But like,
it's just one of the most creative ways of like tackling history and stuff like that. I thought it was a really cool thing to see.
I mean, the Japanese love they like history, so I could totally see this being big, really big, especially with the creators they have working on it. Dude, this is sick.
I'm excited because apparently they're gonna do like a full fucking like tankobon volume of that.
That'd be cool.
So like I'll probably get it. There's a couple of things that I really want to get like volumes of, but
they'll probably turn that into a short series too. Different animation.
Shonen Jump's history of the world. That would actually be kind of fucking cool.
That'd be cool. But what if they did like an anime, like a short anime series for like maybe like an episode per book or something, or per manga?
Yeah. Honestly, you could probably do something cool with that.
There's a lot of history anime out there, so I could see it being really popular, especially with, like certain people working on it, like Tabata, Horikoshi. People love them right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Another one that they could probably get to do something would be like Gege Akutami. Anyway,
I mean, you could get some of the old heads in there too. Like Kubo would probably love to do something like that.
Yeah, speaking of Kubo, that's actually a good segue into like the big topic that I've been sitting on for the night, because it's some comments from the studio head the CEO of Studio Pierrot, who did Naruto and Bleach.
Yes, sir. One of my favorite studios.
Let me pull this up, share screen. So this has been interesting because I've been covering a lot of like the localization stuff that's been happening. So now we get this. So Naruto and Bleach Anime Studio president rejects idea that anime should conform to Western standards. If you make animation with that in mind, it becomes increasingly boring. So he's basically calling people out.
I love it.
Yeah,
here's the main thing, though. That doesn't stop like the localizers from changing things.
Yeah, so that is a good point. I think one of the things to acknowledge here, though, is that the studio heads there's a lot of pressure because localizers have been hoping to use the weight of the Western market's dollar value to try and influence creators. I mean, they've done that to Capcom already and Bandai Namco. I got that wrong.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, but basically, they want to like try and pressure people. It shows that these CEOs understand the product that they're dealing with and what people want out of it.
Yes,
and by anime remaining Japanese, it retains its audience. In fact, it continues to grow because, well, more and more people like it.
We're just gonna have to learn Japanese,
right?
I mean, here's the thing that like.
Nihongo ga dekimasen.
There you go. One of the things that I noticed that was like not big, but like big enough for me was in Blood War. So in Blood War Part 2, I've talked about this. There's a certain scene that's like pretty freaking funny, but you also lose a lot of information on a certain character without it. And they cut it just because it was like it could be offensive to Western audiences. And I was like, dude, like you have it being as violent as it was. Like you're not cutting out any of the battles. You're not making like you're actually making it more violent than the manga shows, but you have to cut out the like that one line that's like actually it's a little bit of a in a really dark moment of the manga. It's kind of like a good little laugh, but also gives you a lot of context on the character.
Well, I think that decision ended up coming from like the studio itself, and it might have just been due to like trying to cut content and fit things down.
I think
they probably deemed those as less necessary because there's another one with Orihime.
Yeah, there is. That's true.
I'll go. But yeah, I mean, so in addition, in adding his voice to the increasing number of Japanese creatives who have found themselves unhappy with the ever-growing demand that their works be altered in order to accommodate Western sociopolitical standards, anime production studio Pierrot Co. Limited president and CEO Michiyuki Honma has warned that should his respective medium change its core identity in order to attract overseas audience, the result will become increasingly boring. Yeah, I mean, the guy's on to something with that comment. I mean, look at a lot of what Western entertainment has become. Obviously, there are those like random gems that we'll come across, like apparently Fallout is one of those. But like the whole like thing that people love about anime is that it's Japanese art and it has that Japanese soul to it. It is specifically a product of their culture. And the moment they start removing their culture from it, it becomes the same bland sort of slop that everyone else has to deal with. So Honma, who during his thus far tenure at the studio has overseen the production of such anime series as Bleach, Bleach Thousand Year Blood War, Naruto Shippuden, Boruto, and Kingdom.
1 second, I'm listening. I gotta turn my camera off for a second.
Yeah, sure. Offered his thoughts on this hot topic while speaking with Japanese entertainment news outlet Comic Natalie for their anime studio staff-centric interview series Anime Studio Chronicle. Where's the rest of the article? eventually turning to reflect on how popular the aforementioned Naruto trilogy has been with overseas viewers. At current, roughly 30% of Studio Pierrot's video sales come from overseas audiences, with the trio of series and their related films being by far their best sellers. The studio boss asserted, "I am endlessly grateful to have had the opportunity to meet and produce a great work that will become a long-term series that will last for years. However, it is difficult to make a work that will be popular overseas or that will become a long-term series." To this end, Hanma exclaimed, "Of course, you can aim for the top half, but if you make animation with that in mind, it will become increasingly boring." So, one of the things that I pointed out was, like, again, that these studio heads understand the product they're dealing with and what they're actually selling, which is like a good thing. And I think a lot of the issue that they've been having is that they've been passing these things off based on like the traditional like Japanese business trust, and they expect Western studios to respect the IP and actually do a good job instead of just inserting their own ideology into it. So they aren't really paying much attention to it. And when they are, they actually have a bunch of people who are like putting pressure on them to try and change things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that I think he's hitting the nail on the head there.
Mm-hmm.
By just coming out and saying it the way that he did, because like that quote exactly right there. Like, we don't want to make characters like smoke in order to take some series overseas, or we don't make characters like a little less violent and avoid sexy expressions. Like, yeah, like I don't. You can't. Here's the thing. You can't. It's not art if you're putting rules on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's basically what he's saying at the end of the day. It's like, you can't, like, I'm not how to exactly say it. Not rules, but restrictions.
You can't tell people there are certain things that are off limits, because
Right.
sometimes some really like good stories will spawn out of that. So actually good, I'm gonna full screen myself here. A good example of a story that deals with some dark stuff. Geez, did I hear? I mean, if you said that, or if you made like a rule against like what kind of like dark stuff you could portray, a story like that or like Berserk wouldn't be possible. Because I mean, one of the main characters in that story is literally someone that like a little girl that the Yakuza abducted to help pay off her father's debts, and then sold her to a brothel. I mean, it's fucked up, but it doesn't actually go into that. It literally starts the story where she finally has a chance when she's like 12 years old to like break out of there, and she ends up running into the main character, who's a corporate assassin who takes pity on her.
Well, also, like, you wouldn't even be able to have the Red Light District arc in Demon Slayer.
Yeah, right.
Like, because there's some parts in there, like, I mean, dude, there's whole anime that are about that stuff, and like, or whole manga.
I think a better example of what wouldn't like be allowed to happen if they were putting their if they were making things for Western audiences, Berserk would not have the same level of impact that it does. So
no, absolutely not.
Particularly with the Eclipse, like if they decided that, well, Casca can't be like, she can't be saved by Guts. She can't have this relationship with Guts. That like destroys half of the impact of the Eclipse.
Yeah.
Because part of it is Femto does, or Griffith does what he does in that scene specifically because he wants to spite Guts. Because he knows Guts loves Casca.
Yeah, he wants to completely hurt him in a way that the strongest man can't even like comprehend almost. Like like him seeing that is what fully breaks him, almost.
Yeah, I mean, and like just the absolute
that
like
relationship.
suffering between the like it adds a whole other layer of pain to like what Guts has to go through after all that happens, because Casca's fucking mental after that, and she like can't even like stand the sight of him, even in her like broken mental state. Like she's afraid of Guts, and like it's just that other level of like pain, because this was someone he loved, someone who loved him back, someone he was very close to, and now she's just gone.
But that's the
that
thing.
Wouldn't be that wouldn't be allowed.
Not even gone though. That's the worst part about it. Is that she's there, she's alive, but she's not Casca anymore.
Yeah,
and that's the most, like screwy thing about that. And then to not have them have a relationship the way that they did completely destroys that.
And they would not like Casca wouldn't be like Guts wouldn't be allowed to save her, pretty much. Like that would be like a forbidden thing. Like he wouldn't be allowed to fight 100 soldiers so that she could retreat, so that he could save her. He wouldn't be allowed to do all the shit he does for her in the Golden Age arc, or even like take care of her afterwards, as like they can't stay in one place because of the brand of sacrifice.
Yeah,
like they constantly have to be moving. But more than that, they wouldn't allow Farnese to be a character.
I don't know who that is. So you gotta remember, I know like the major points of Berserk, but I don't know. I haven't read it. So
Farnese is another female character who joins the entourage later. And basically she starts off hunting Guts because he's quote unquote a heretic.
Right.
But later she has this whole like realization, like she doesn't actually like believe this. She's like basically torturing herself, because she realizes that by technicality she's a heretic too, and it's fucked up. But she has this whole arc where basically she is useless. She relies on so many other people in order to get to a point where she can finally do something for other people. And for the largest part, all she can do is just take care of Casca, because absolutely nutso mental Casca, for some reason, really loves Farnese.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, they would never allow that. If it was a full-on Western like thing, they would never allow that.
Yeah. Another thing they wouldn't allow: Sanji being afraid of drag queens.
Oh, dude, that would not fly. That would not fly at all. But it makes sense, dude. He was trapped on an island of drag queens. I'd be scared too.
Well, even before that, like he had a terrible fear of drag queens.
Right, that's true.
So going through the rest of this article, drawing his thoughts to a close, Hanma ultimately affirmed works that are a hit in Japan are also a hit overseas. Nail on the head, man.
Dude, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I believe that we must not make the mistake of approaching anime production in the wrong way.
Like Candace right there, bro. I'll be honest, that character right there, there's some stuff they censored about her. And not even like physically, I'm talking like fight-wise, conversation-wise. Like this stuff they just left out. And I find it hard to believe that the studio wasn't like, because now he's coming out and talking about this now, right? So he must be fed up with it.
Yeah.
I did the part 1 and some of part 2 of the Blood War, personally.
Like this guy, like he is straight up like he understands that people like Japanese entertainment because it is Japanese entertainment.
Yes.
Like if you're gonna rip like the heart and like the creative heart and soul out of something, it's gonna die.
Exactly. It's gonna die before the seed even grows.
So as noted above, Hanma is thankfully far from the first Japanese creator to speak out against the ongoing attempts by Western audiences to force Eastern countries' various entertainment mediums to appeal to their own tastes and sensibilities. You know, there's actually a politician in the Japanese parliament who's pushing for laws to deal with localizers and their bullshit.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a thing. So I forget his name. I know he's been mentioned by Hirohei a couple of times. So asked during an April interview with the video game news outlet Automaton if he was taking care not to let your series identity become westernized. Current Mana series producer Masaru Oyamada declared, "I think the visuals of Mana games are distinctive characteristics. Therefore, it is best to deliver the game based on the developer's creative vision."
For example, there are many different types of characters in the Mana series. I think the fun of the game is encountering this mysterious world and its inhabitants, and because of that, we don't have a strong focus on a particular audience. However, we do work on the game while bearing in mind that the Mana series is loved by fans from all over the world. Yeah, that is one I've heard of.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing that I actually learned recently is it's part of the ideology that causes all this localization, all the rot in entertainment. It isn't just like a lack of knowledge of what the audience is. It is they straight up don't care.
Yeah. No, they don't.
They don't care about the audience. They care about control. And that goes back to thanks to, I think the guy's name is Arch. He was on Side Scrollers talking about this when they were doing their coverage of Warhammer, which I tuned in.
I missed all that because of being away.
It was a good episode.
I'm catching up on all the YouTube stuff I missed over the past month.
He pointed out a figure in history called Antonio Gramsci, who was a fascist who basically developed the entire ideology that has wrecked entertainment. It's the idea that like they got to capture it and control it, because if you don't control all the things that people love about capitalism and ruin them, people will never want to abandon capitalism.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the genius of the ideology is that it doesn't need to be controlled. It is literally just how it works.
Huh.
So yeah, it is. Wow. So weighing in on the discourse surrounding the heavily altered localization scene in the English release of Vanillaware's Unicorn Overlord, Final Fantasy Tactics director Yasumi Matsuno opined, "I believe that it is unacceptable for someone to alter works without considering the original author's intent. However, when the market or language is different, a direct translation may not convey the intended meaning accurately." Yes. Dermy Wormy, another guy I was following, he pointed out basically the idea isn't to get exactly 1-for-1. It is to get as close as fucking possible to 1-for-1. We want the best faith translation of a series while still maintaining the author's original words. So like certain words just don't, certain sayings just don't translate.
They don't translate at all. You'd have to change it.
So yeah, like therefore I think some degree of alteration is unavoidable. Yes, that's just gonna have to happen.
I mean, as well, that has to happen because they still have to line up the animation with what we're saying. You know, so some of the sentences in Japanese are like super freaking short because there's one word for man sitting in chair that's one word as opposed to
No, that would be Seki de Tsukoshi. No, it's
I know that wasn't actually it, but I'm just using it as an example.
No. I totally butchered that. That's not actually Seki would be chair, either way, or seat. And Suarimas, I think that's the word for sit. Either way. A more accurate example would be what's the term for it? But basically, it's nice to meet you. I look forward to working with you. That's 2 words in Japanese.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like hajime mashite.
Mashite. I know that.
Oh, I put on the spot. I can never remember my fucking Japanese. I need to get into like a program where I can actually practice speaking it with people because fuck.
Yeah, dude, I gotta get back to it because I was doing all right learning it, and then I just kind of stopped.
I have literally just been on Duolingo for like almost a year at this point, just 15 to 45 minutes a day. So I know words. I can read hiragana. I know some kanji and all that, and I know basic sentence structure, but like I have trouble actually like speaking and translating it on the spot.
Yeah, I can read hiragana. But the teacher that I had, we like switched to katakana like a month or two in. So I was like, yo, I feel like you should be doing hiragana for the whole time just to get like all that down. Not the whole time, but like most, like get the basic down. Because then you're skipping to like all the katakana, which is like completely different.
Yeah. But pretty much, I mean, it looks like Japan's pretty based on all of this. So,
dude, I love how based that country is. They're like, no, especially like
they will harass you for littering. I love
dude,
it.
I love like you hear about I'm sure you've heard about the one story about the like the white lady over there. She's like, they won't let me in the bar. And they're like, yeah, it says no white people. she's like, well, I'm gonna call the police. And then the police show up and the police are like, yeah, it says no Americans. And she's like, that's racist. They're like, no, it's not. It just says no Americans on the door. Like they don't like they don't care. Like they don't think.
I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be like, I understand.
Yeah, like they don't think that way. You know what I'm saying? They're like, it says Japanese only. Like, what do you not get about that?
Yeah, like I think it should be perfectly fair here in the States to say that well, you don't speak English, I'm not going to serve you. Like that should be completely allowed. Like if you don't speak the main language of the land, you probably should expect to get rejected at the door because people don't want to put up with your shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it was like, that's how it is over there in Japan. They're like, that's why they have signs that say Japanese only on certain buildings because they don't want to deal with that shit. And like,
yeah. Well, some people legitimately are racist. They just don't want foreigners.
Well,
like,
yeah,
that's their fucking prerogative. Like they can do that if they want.
That's them just being racist. But I just think I love that story about the lady because she actually called the police and the police were like, why did you call us? She's like, well, they won't let me in. They're like, yeah, it says Japanese only, woman. Like, what do you not understand about that? Because they're not thinking of it in a racist term. They're thinking of it in a way of like, well, yeah, that's just how our country is. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, they're an ethno state with an interest in staying an ethno state.
Yeah.
I think the even more funny is the fact that they consider feminism a cult over there.
That's hilarious.
Yes, they legit like feminism is treated like a cult over there. It is.
Well, I mean, aren't they like
when they complained about Uzaki-chan's tits being too big? They the trailer for season 2 of that series mocked feminists.
Isn't their population like 60% male? Is it higher?
I don't know.
It's something like that. There's more men in Japan than there is women. I know that. I don't remember the percentage, but
oh boy.
In a country like that, it would make sense. In America, we're pretty much 50-50.
Yeah. I think that is pretty much the end of that article. So,
word.
Yeah. It is a wild thing. Like they've been trying to put so much pressure on Japan to try and conform because people love it. But ESG funds, Japanese companies have pulled all their money out of them.
Good.
The Western audience, they're starting to understand that the reason the Western audience loves their artwork so much or their art so much is because it has a Japanese soul to it. And they understand that if they take that away, they're going to lose their Western audience.
And I think that most members of the Western audience who are actual fans of it, not just like, I like anime, but change it because it's this, that, or the third, or the same thing. That's not a fan. Being an actual fan of that culture and the way that they create their art, we understand.
Like, look, a fan can have...
What's up, Ronnie? You little turd. Prom queen over here.
A dancing queen.
Yeah, he's the dancing queen, dude. I sang it for him the other day.
Yeah. Now look, when I first started anime and stuff, like I had my criticisms of it. I was not a huge fan of like the ecchi genre. I basically called it like defective porn, pretty much, because that's what it was to me.
Ronnie, that's where you're at right now. There's my comeback, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I was like, okay, it's all fan service, no story. Like, is this really going to be like how Japanese do? They like that stuff. Look, I criticized it. I said it was dumb. I didn't like it. And I called it out, but it's not like you could probably go back and find my old videos on shit like that. It's not like it was ever a thing where I was demanding changes and like, this has got to get better. You got to do better. This is awful. This is horrible. I was criticizing the art, like the individual selections,
right?
Things that I didn't like that I thought was like just poorly done. That's different from someone coming in and demanding that art conform to their personal ideologies.
Yeah, if you don't like it, then don't watch it, don't read it. But then if we were to say that, right, like when we come out and do defend it for being art, we get bitched at too. and in my mind, I'm like, well, like think about all the freaking famous artwork throughout the world. Like I can go and say, I like this, Greek statue that was created. And that ain't body positive, yo. Like half of these people are freaking jacked, or like
they're completely fine with naked dudes with giant fucking dongs hanging out. They don't care about that. They're perfectly fine with bear sex. But the moment you have Tiggle anime biddies, and
that's a no-go.
Yeah. Or the moment you don't acknowledge that the world is sexist, that's a no-go. Fucking Dragon Maid. Or if a character is a cross-dresser, they're automatically trans.
Yeah, I don't like that's not always true either.
Like most of the characters that they consider trans in anime actually aren't. They're just cross-dressers.
I mean,
there's a whole debate over like Yamato is trans from One Piece because she identifies as Kaido's son, but there's this whole fucking cultural thing you've got to get into, and it basically comes down to bad faith interpretation.
Well, also you have to keep in mind that like there's a lot of different freaking Mulan faked being a dude. Like
Mulan is trans confirmed.
Yeah, right? Like, is that how that works?
Mob Psycho is trans because Reagan and Mob pretended to be teen girls in order to get into an all-girls school so they could do a job.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it works though, because like, you ever seen a little Japanese girl and a little Japanese boy next to each other? Little kids. They don't look much different, bro. Neither do we. To be fair. Like, shit, dude.
It's just a whole other fucking level of stupidity.
I agree.
When it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, the West just gave up because those institutions, they were captured by the retards a long time ago. Same with everything that we're seeing now.
Ronnie, don't get them started, dude. Don't get them started, Ronnie, because I bet you there's people out there that are gonna be like, well, you never know, dude.
Let's play a game. I'm going to Google right now.
Is Darth Vader trans?
I typed it in. The first thing is all the queer Star Wars icons you've probably never heard of. Okay, so actually have.
Unfortunately, that's probably true.
Okay, I gotta share this screen with you because there is something absolutely fucking amazing that just popped up. This is a Vice article, by the way. So, look at this one right here.
Yo, is that even allowed? Can you even call it that? Can you even be like, that's an article that's allowed? Like, what?
Well, it's by Vice, so they're allowed to say whatever the hell they want. Rules for thee, not for me, you know?
Remember when Vice used to be cool?
Wasn't Vice the one that Tim Pool used to own?
I think his show was on there. I don't know if he owned it.
I think he was like a co-founder or something of it. Either way, yeah, Vice used to be cool, and then they started making hit pieces about how all man is for how all manga and anime is for PDF files.
Don't get me wrong; they exist, but they exist in every fan base.
Yeah, I mean, just because okay, let's put it this way. The best example you have of that is the fact that the creator of Rurouni Kenshin actually turned out to be one of those kinds of people.
Yeah.
He had dating material on his computers, and they like legitimately arrested him for it. But otherwise, I mean, that basically their argument boiled down to, well, they show this 16-year-old with a short skirt and big tits, so therefore it is awful. It's fine.
Yeah.
We can wrap it here soon. I think we're pretty much done with everything that I wanted to cover. So before we end tonight, I do have one question I want to ask you. What did you finish Attack on Titan, right?
Of course.
What did you honestly think of the ending? Did you like it? Did you dislike it?
I didn't dislike it. And I've watched it a couple times. I just wish there was more there. Like, can you, like, that's 6 more than Roman's watched in the past month, Ronnie.
See, I want him to finish that so we can do like a full like deep dive of Attack on Titan, because I decided to upgrade my display with the statue of Commander Erwin.
Give your heart, bro.
Dedicate your heart.
Dedicate your heart. Wait, is it the left hand?
I don't remember. One of my wrists actually doesn't twist. So like I have no motion in this wrist.
Yeah, I think it's the right. I think it's the right.
Either way.
Dude, it's amazing.
But yeah, I as far as Attack on Titan goes, I love the whole thing. I thought the ending was good, actually. I thought it was really well written.
I thought it was good.
I have been called a retard for saying that, and I disagree, because you basically have a series that is like a commentary on the early 20th century.
Yep.
And like the endless war and all that. Like you can draw and tons of parallels, like the Titans being pretty much just an analogy for nuclear weapons.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they literally are in season 4.
Yes.
They quite literally are.
Like the Eldians are literally just Jews. Marley is the German, is like Germany.
Yeah.
Like there's so many fucking parallels there.
They have the freaking armbands with stars on them. Come on.
The commentary is basically like, we fought all these wars and we still continue to go to war. So the way it ended, I understand. Plus, you have to keep in mind that Aaron's goal in it was never to like save the world.
That's
but
true. That's true. And then I liked
technically yes. Yes, they did.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of did.
That is like the one complaint I do have, though, is they retcon the power of the Colossal Titan.
Yeah, they kind of did. But what I really liked was something that I think should have been at the tree. I liked how they just kind of show everything while the credits are rolling. But like all you have is like Jean and Mikasa standing next to each other at one point. Like, bro, could we at least have gotten like a little flash forward to be like of Jean and Mikasa walking up together to go see Aaron's grave? So like you know they're together type of thing. You know, like that just one little like thing would have been nice, I think.
Yeah.
Because you get that in the manga, don't you? Where it's like obvious that John's
I don't think so. Either way, the criticism I hear of it is that like it's entirely nihilistic, the ending, because like nothing ever fucking matters. Like, well, here's the thing. I mean, consider what it's based on. Consider like the fact that like I don't think it's nihilistic. I think it's tragic. I don't think it's that nothing ever mattered. It was literally just that things were. They had a chance. I mean, Armin literally says they have a chance to stop anything else from happening at the end of the series. And, well, human grudges prevailed. It wasn't that it was worthless. It's that people chose not to take the chance.
Well, they had peace for a while.
Mm-hmm.
At least for Mikasa's lifetime. And everybody else.
For more than that. I mean, look how far everything had progressed.
Yeah, dude, there was freaking, like, it took up until there was, like, skyscrapers and shit before something happened again.
Yeah.
That's human history, dude.
So I think the criticism at the end is nihilistic, because it doesn't end with Aaron being a hero. It ends with Aaron being, well, I shouldn't say much more than that, but
yeah,
we can get into that when we do like a full-on Attack on Titan.
Yeah, because we'll actually do a deep dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say before we close out, though, when you do a Lord of the Rings deep dive, we gotta go hard. All right, Ron, that's the first episode.
Yeah. So as far as the Lord of the Rings one goes, I'm holding off on that one until we get closer to like
Rings of Power.
Yeah, like Rings of Power, or like the anniversary of Tolkien's death or whatever, and just do like a full on like.
What about War of the Rohirrim when the anime comes out?
And we could basically just make it a year-end event, because I do for that one, I want to get like a lot of our guys in there, because I think it would be really fun to just do a whole stream about Lord of the Rings and going into it. Plus, I'm still trying to catch up. I've got like the Silmarillion to get through. I got a bunch of Tolkien material to get through.
Silmarillion's so good, and it's so different than any other Tolkien stuff.
Dude, Tolkien was fucking based as hell, and like
based, dude. And dude, like there's some dark stuff in the Silmarillion where you're like, damn, he didn't even go this dark in Lord of the Rings. And he certainly didn't go that dark in The Hobbit, but there is some out of pocket stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, George R.R. Martin literally took that from the book and put it into Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. But no, like some of his comments, like very scarily accurately apply to today. And I'd have to go back and like find them, but the dude was addressing topics that were way ahead of his time.
Way ahead of his time. Freaking love Tolkien. But we could talk about Tolkien all night, to be honest.
Anyway, you've got to go. So we're going to call this a wrap. So obviously, everyone who's here knows where they can find me. You can find me at Isaac Hendren on Twitter. You can find this stream will go down on my main channel. It'll go up on my other channel, Crimson Chaos, which is where all of my live streams will stay. Ooh. And I'm also working on, getting my whole Substack thing set up so I can start writing and publishing things over there. And doing some more creative work. And that's just basically going to be me doing free stuff. Sweet. Eventually, I'll try and like monetize that once I actually get things going. But for now, that's where you can find me on Twitter, here on YouTube, and eventually I will post a link to Substack. Where can they find you, Roland?
You guys can find me on the Rolo Romcast every week. That's on the RG Energy channel. For now, we're also on like Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. Also, it streams on Twitch, funnily enough. But you can also find me on X over at Grand Admiral Rolo, and that's at Rolo Lord on there. And then Rolo_films is where I make a lot of my anime edits. That's on Instagram right now. But yeah, that's where you can find me for the most part. That's where I'm most active. I haven't posted anything on Rolo Films in a while. I need some new ideas. But yeah, Rolo Ramcast is weekly, and you can find me on shows like this. I'm usually all over the space, and you can check me out in a lot of different chats. You'll usually see me popping into there. So there we go. Thanks for having me on, brother. It's good to be back.
Always love having you on because you're like the only one who's autistic enough to engage with me on all the things that I talk about.
Yes, sir.
I need to find more people to get on here because I do want to like kind of expand this thing and have more people to talk with.
We need to find more people with weaponized autism.
Yes. Full internet mode, right? But we're going to call it there. So thanks everyone who tuned in, even to Ronnie, who I know is here just for the clips.
Yes.
I know he just wants to make us say stupid things, but
unfortunately,
I don't think you got anything good. I mean, maybe if you went back to when we were quoting Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah,
I say, boy.
Give your hearts, I say.
You're more useless than a midget with a yo-yo.